Mostly they would want you to have a minimum $1 million annual sales net profit before they approach you. In 1990, where I was asked to go to war. Being from Iran, our country has been involved in war against Iraq, unfortunately, for nearly 8 years. And being the only son in the family, my dad, who was a dentist and wanted me to become a dentist, he was quite scared that I might be taken to war, and despite the fact several of my friends have been heavily involved in the army in that sort of intense fight in between the two countries. So I decided to move to Europe, and then I managed to finish my study in dentistry as my father wanted me, and I had a huge passion towards that anyways. So then after I finished, I decided to come to Australia because I really love the nature, people, the culture.
Welcome to The Business Game, a podcast that moves the needle. Hey guys, before we get started today, just a really quick moment to thank one of our sponsors, SmoothX. Their integration platform connects Procore, Xero, QuickBooks, and more, trusted by over 1,000 clients globally, and you can be operational in under 30 minutes. Visit smoothx.com to simplify your workflows. And thanks again to SmoothX for sponsoring The Business Game. Hi everybody, welcome back to the show. My name's Jazmyn. I'm joined today by Kevin. How are you?
Hello everybody, welcome to the podcast. Yeah.
We're very lucky today to be joined by someone who has made innovation a massive part of their entire career. Dr. Mathew, welcome to the show.
Hello, hi, thank you. Thanks for having me.
We're so honored. All right, I guess could you kick us off with a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Well, thank you. My name is Dr. Mathew Jafarzadeh, and I'm the founder and director of Cosmo Innovations based in Melbourne, Australia. And I am very grateful with this opportunity to be able to showcase my company as well as the amazing journey that I have been quite fortunate to go through since I migrated to Australia back in 1997, which hopefully audience find the story interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. It sounds fascinating right off the top. So, I mean, at this point in your career, you're not only a founder and company director of within an industry that is worth $1.3 trillion, the cosmetic, skincare, and beauty industries. But your life didn't always look like this, did it? Can you sort of walk us through those earlier days?
Yes. Well, it goes back to before 1990, where I was asked to go to war. Being from Iran, our country has been involved in war against Iraq, unfortunately, for nearly 8 years. And being the only son in the family, my dad, who was a dentist and wanted me to become a dentist, he was quite scared that I might be taken to war, and despite the fact several of my friends have been heavily involved in the army in that sort of intense fight in between the two countries. So I decided to move to Europe, and then I managed to finish my study in dentistry as my father wanted me, and I had a huge passion towards that anyways. So then after I finished, I decided to come to Australia because I really love the nature, people, the culture, and I landed back in 1997, and then after about a year working, I realized that dentistry is not my thing. For some reason, I had more options to choose. Being in Australia and being open to so many different options and opportunities, I decided to change my journey and get a bit more focus on the field of light therapy in both medical and aesthetic. We call it thermal and non-thermal lasers. And I after I finished my formal training. I started to work at my private practice in Melbourne and now I'm still working very, very casually part-time for nearly 25 years as a senior laser practitioner. And I was elected as the vice president of the Australian Institute of Laser Therapy back in early 2000, where I gathered more knowledge and information and interest in the field of photobiomodulation and laser therapy, which is now worldwide used. Back in old days, there was a lot of skepticism and people didn't know whether light can make so many differences, whether it's aesthetic or healing to the tissue and so forth. So that was my passion. And here we are now 25 years later. I decided to set up a company, a startup called Cosmo Innovations, where my passion was to start innovate high-tech, low-cost, innovative devices for both consumers and professionals to get access. So I put together a large portfolio of devices in oral health and skincare delivery, drug delivery, pain management, and consumer health. And I started with a bit of bootstrapping, and I reinvested everything into R&D and IP, and I had many moments where things nearly fell apart, and regulatory hurdles and funding challenges and manufacturing issues.
The whole gambit of yeah, that's amazing. What an incredible journey so far, and so much more left to achieve, I'm sure. But let's focus on some good stuff for the second. What are some of your biggest personal highlights so far?
Well, the personal highlight, I would say probably would be seeing my ideas coming to life and having investors that have believed in my my ideas and the path that I was heading towards. So they've invested in me and in my company, and we put a very good team together. And after 6 years, we managed to develop a breakthrough technology that just funny enough, last week has been chosen by Beauty Matter New York as the best breakthrough technology in beauty 2025, which we have been extremely thrilled and celebrated for this achievement. So this is my highlight after working so hard to come to this point and seeing the device to be globally recognized. I believe that this could be a very, very big moment, not for me, for anybody that would be in the same situation.
Yeah, congratulations. I mean, your credibility is obviously undeniable with all your journey through the years, the struggles that you've gone through, and obviously it has shaped the professional and entrepreneur that you are today. Now, tell us a little bit about some of the regrets and how it influenced you as a leader.
Well, there are many traits, and especially coming as a migrant, that you are not socially and culturally too in line with what goes around you. So there's a lot of obviously hurdles that anybody would be facing, and you need to sort of be robust and strong enough to say no's to yeses and yes to no's. And sometimes you just have to believe in your own gut feeling and instincts. So for me, just the fear was not being able to pull it through and fail, because obviously when families, they trust in you and they put their life savings in your concept, which initially starts with just a nice sketch, an idea, and that slowly gets granted patent after patent as a novel innovation, and they get more encouraged and more people come to the board and they invest in you. You want to make sure that you execute, because talking is very easy, that you can do X, Y, and Z, but when you really have to get your hands dirty and just really bring and construct and bring a product to life from idea, that is something that could be a little bit challenging. And the fear is, what if it doesn't? So it all goes back to your self intuitions and the faith and trust that you could have in your own guts, your thinking, and obviously have a belief in your team, which is very important.
Absolutely.
That's really inspiring, actually.
Yeah.
That's very inspiring.
So I'm just wondering, with all of the innovation that you're a part of, what kind of sources within your industry do you turn to keep your finger on the pulse on, what sort of next in across skincare, beauty, and healthcare in general?
Obviously, one of the biggest interests now our generation is facing now is towards AI and the integration of digital innovation into everyday life. Whether it's content and news and information that you want to get access to get more informed, or simply, excuse me, having those complex algorithm into your technology and idea. For example, the SkinGate device that we developed, which I have it right here next in front of me.
Show us, yeah.
Yes. So this little device is able to offer a few different features. So the IP of the SkinGate is actually a capsule that is inside this device. So the idea behind it was to eliminate the manual application of the creams and serums on a daily basis, because we don't penetrate enough serum as we think we are doing it by massaging, because first of all, you can transmit germs from the hand to the face. Plus, up to 20% of the serum can be absorbed in the palm of the hand before it lands on your face. And as you rub the product, it could be really penetrating into different levels. So it's not very consistent. Whereas with SkinGate, we have a 15 ml skincare capsule that goes into the device. So similar to your coffee machine that you insert the coffee capsule and you serve your coffee, the actual device is able to simply analyze your skin in 4 seconds. Through skin analysis, it picks up your skin's oil level, moisture, texture, and vitality of the skin. And by pressing a button, we get 0.25 cream coming out of the device, which is enough for one side of your face. And simply by rubbing the massaging the device on your skin, you can enjoy a very deep hydration and immediate firming and lifting on your face, whether it's face, neck, or any part of your body. If someone suffers from acne or rosacea, simply to switch the light to a different light that treats acne and blemishes and sensitivity and inflammation. So this little device can really offer salon quality at home result. And obviously, after the treatment is finished, you can put the head ultraviolet and sterilize the head. So after we develop this, the next phase of SkinGate would be transferring drugs into our body through the same mechanism, through a smart watch that we have developed a prototype where the actual watch is facing towards the back of your wrist, and medication in the form of a cassette can be inserted into the watch and deliver HRT or metformin or potentially insulin transdermally without piercing the skin into the thin skin behind your wrist, and your obviously your blood vessel network can carry it right away without bypassing your liver. So that's our next project that we're working on. Obviously, all our focus is on successful global commercialization of our SkinGate that we just won this award. But yeah, it's very exciting. As you can see, it's a lot happening, and we are really capable to go to the next level.
Yeah, it seems like such an innovative product, and it seems like you have kind of trying to take it into a further space, whether it's the watch and things like that. Now, how is the market currently looking at your product, and what are their thoughts around your current entrance of this?
Well, it's actually quite interesting to see the reaction. It's quite jaw-dropping when we're talking with CEOs and big business development senior teams at different medical device or skincare manufacturers, where they can put their skincare into the capsules and use the device as a hero to push their products skin deep and also do the analysis and so forth. This is very encouraging for us. So we believe sooner or later we're going to have a pretty successful outcome by bringing SkinGate to market, where there is salons and clinics. I think this device is really capable to be both used by salon professionals, doctors, and even hairdressers.
Obviously, you deal with very like high grade sort of technology. You're blending that with skincare application. But what are your thoughts on some of these trendier kind of buzzwords that are going around on social media, where people are or brands are claiming to have ingredients like lab-grown collagen, fermented botanicals, climate adaptive skincare? Have you heard of any of these? And is there any science
Yes,
to back them up?
absolutely. Believe it or not, as technology is evolving, there are a lot of new way of manufacturing products with a smaller molecule size or encapsulated or having them mixed with some products that could increase the polarity of the skincare so it can react to certain environment or energy. And obviously, they all have good and bad are in both products as well as technology. I mean, not all technologies are the same. But we are lucky that we're living in a country that there's a lot of regulations,
Yeah.
and companies have to really follow those regulations and rules to make sure that they're not misinforming end users. So that's the whole game. I mean, for us to bring SkinGate, we had to go through a very thorough clinical trials, and obviously the FCC ROSE and CE regulatory approval that we have obtained has been quite challenging, but we easily pass through those hurdles. And I think
Yeah, I wanted to ask
this
you
is part of the
about
journey.
clinical trials. That's obviously something that, a few different industries kind of have to keep up to date with. How do you find the process? Obviously, I guess what I know as general knowledge is that it can be quite expensive. How do you go about conducting yours?
Yes, it can be expensive. It depends. Well, I'm quite lucky that at my clinic here, we had over, average 40 to 50 patients come through the door every day. So we had quite a big team that initially we started with doing in-house clinical trial to make sure that device doesn't cause injuries, doesn't cause any sort of, it doesn't fail, it doesn't cause any sort of mishaps or dissatisfaction. But this has been used widely for over a year by both practitioners and consumers. So we get a lot of repurchase of the device as well as reordering of the creams. Clinical trial is something that obviously you need to have a very good understanding of which laboratory or company that you're going with to conduct those clinical trials, because sometimes it could be quite challenging and expensive. Uh, you know, obviously, this could really vary from product to product and the level of involvement that needs, because we didn't have to do a very deep clinical trial that FDA asked, because simply this is not a medical device. But if we go for a medical device version, that would be something that you have to have a certain funding in place to sort of spend the funding on a larger clinical trial to ensure that you tick all the boxes.
And in terms of consumers kind of feeling safe with your product, you talked about, we having a lot of regulatory bodies that can cover those things. How are you kind of preparing yourself in terms of patents, insurance, and any liabilities that could come up your way? How are you covering yourself? And
Yeah, that all goes, great question. I mean, that all goes by the experience, because when you develop a device that is purely based on technology, based on science and papers and latest clinical findings, you have more chances to succeed than fail, rather than just picking up things up there and putting everything into one device that won't work or will fail immediately.
Yeah.
So we try to really take those advice and those guidelines very seriously. And we hired top engineering team in Australia and overseas to help us. It took nearly 4.5 years. And by the way, I forgot to mention that we have been a graduate resident of Johnson & Johnson Innovation. So since 2018, we've been their prime resident in Shanghai for nearly 4 years at
Wow.
JLabs Innovation, which is one of the largest innovation hub in the world. And after that, we transitioned to Singapore J Labs for 1.5 years. So we just finished our residency there, and being with Johnson Johnson team and being exposed with their amazing network of mentors, scientific teams, regulatory IP,
facilities
and
and
so forth
operations. Yeah.
has given us a very good access to best latest information and obviously scientific findings that we could incorporate into our technology.
How quickly do you find that research is keeping up with consumer demand for innovation in these spaces? Is it quite fast over turn?
It well depends what is fast. Fast could mean years, because you can finish a product if you have a strong team within 2 years or 3 years. And if you have an average team of maybe 10 or 15 or lean company that we are, it took us about 5.5 years to develop it. And it goes back to your funding as well. So if you have a big VC company that backs you up or family office, then that obviously you can have more strong team members to help you to do different tasks. But for us, to handle the IP in-house as well as design, development, everything, it was a bit of a challenge that we had to make sure that we using the investment that we raised very responsibly. So yeah, it took us nearly 5 years, but I know some companies that took them nearly 11, 12 years, and they're still at the prototype level.
And with all of your patents that you have to your name, I'm just wondering, have you ever been in the situation where you've had to defend one of those patents and take it through a lawsuit?
Absolutely.
Can you tell us about that journey?
Yes. For example, the SkinGate that I presented was at a very early stage about 2 years ago in China. I was at one of these events that people were taking photos of the slides where we asked them politely not to bring cameras, but then we found that 6 months later, a company has tried to copy our device, which by accident was picked up by one of my clients who just came from China and said, I saw it on Redbook on one of the social platforms that they are trying to raise capital to finish it. So they were selling it early before it came out. So we got our lawyers on their back, and straight away we asked him to stop that. So that was, but God knows, what else is happening at the different part of the world. And that's a game that you have to be ready. But because I'm working with a very strong IP firms, they are very, very big in terms of their success rate, in terms of getting a patent granted, as well as their strong eyes to details and seeing that there is no fraudulent activities in that area.
That's great to hear. We have a large audience of, other founders and entrepreneurs. Would you mind name dropping who that is that you work with so that people can access them?
Yep, Canel Gates. Obviously, they are extremely well prepared and a strong and solid team that we've been very fortunate to work with them to look after our IPs, as well as IP Monitor or Patent Tech in Sydney. Amazing, very, very eyes for details and extremely successful in terms of the files that they write, and obviously you have to look at the budget that you set aside, and that's why we found these two companies to be extremely great to work with.
Well, great, thanks. That's actually really helpful for us and for the listeners, because you're doing a lot of R&Ds and a lot of patent work. What kind of advice would you kind of give them to protect your product going forward? Or
especially in that patent pending process.
Well, the patent pending process, it's very difficult to manage. I mean, for me, it's a bit difficult because our portfolio has in excess of 70 to maybe close to 90 of lost counts of different territories of several products that we secured. You just have to leave it to because your IP firm would have a division that would constantly monitor and search for potential infringement of your copyright. So that's something that it's part of the package. You have to make sure that your IP attorney is strong enough to provide you that service, because otherwise you wake up with surprises and you can't sue the world. You can maybe fight with one or two or three, but when there are 50 companies popping everywhere, then you have to sort of give up, and then your products will be everywhere. And that's the story that I heard many times from different entrepreneurs, during networking events and so forth. So you learn the lesson and you make sure that you protect it, and you don't disclose the secret, and you leave it to the last minute when you're sitting in front of investors. And for us, is all done and dusted because we have patents granted, and if it happens, then obviously it could be a big price that those infringement companies would pay to infringe your idea. But you have to be ready. I mean, greatest ideas, they still get copied. I mean, Wi-Fi is an Australian great invention, and now everywhere you go, there is a Wi-Fi that there is in a device or gadget, or so they can't just fight with the world. And I'm not sure whether they can collect license fee from every single person that uses the existing technology. But again, that goes back to how much money you need to set aside to sort of overcome those potential commercial issues.
Yeah, that's great advice. Hey guys, just wanted to do a quick shout out to our affiliate partner, OpusClip. If you need great video edits without hiring an editor, their AI engine turns your raw clips into share-ready content in under a minute, no skill required. Find our link in the description to support our show and get a great sign-up bonus. Create more, stress less with OpusClip. What has surprised you most throughout your career about the process of scaling your companies? What's been something that you didn't anticipate to be quite as challenging or rewarding as it is?
Well, I never anticipated that my portfolio would exceed 2 or 3 products, and here we are is now nearly 22 technologies, and that is something that I couldn't control myself, because as you develop technology, there's so many new findings that will occur in that journey that if you don't secure it, that means that you miss the boat, and you will not perfect your product as much as you can. And then from that idea takes it to the second idea, and then second idea, it's as big as the first idea. So that's how it goes. But we try to be very focused and put all the ideas in the vault with a big padlock on it, so we don't touch anything that just sits there. They predominantly are sitting there for licensing, not to commercializing every single device, because you need a very big team, a very deep pocket, and sometimes it may not even be necessary, because obviously if you have a successful product, 1 or 2 successful products could really pay the effort that you did, and you could really live a very comfortable life. But that's not the game. The game was just to really be innovative and try to sort of create a very strong innovation platform where you can be proud of and make other people from my country to be proud of. I mean, as a proud Australian, I think this is very good to be able to produce and rather than be a consumer. And the more we innovate, the more we create jobs, the more we create opportunities, and economy can thrive.
What about the journey through licensing? Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
We are right now in discussion with several major global beauty brands for potential licensing.
And how does that come about?
Well, being a part of Johnson & Johnson, you get exposed to big brands, which we all know them and we use them on a daily basis. Unfortunately, I can't name them because we are on quite a strong NDAs with several of them. But obviously, sometimes they just want to have you strong enough and have very big sales before they approach you. Yeah. Unlikely any company that would be able to sort of be interested in taking you over if you don't have sales. So sales is the key. No matter how great is your technology, rarely they would invest. Or if they invest, it would be very little because you haven't proven anything yet. So you don't have much room for negotiation. But if you have good sales and good traction, I think then licensing will be part of it. And that's where we're heading towards that, to raise the capital, which we are doing. And right now we are raising We just started putting all our pitch deck and documents together to start raising 3 million. That would enable us to commercialize our SkinGate and also release a pro version of the SkinGate that is more vertically scalable, that we could treat other concerns such as hair loss, and skin cleansing, scrubbing, and skin treatment rather than just anti-aging.
Incredible. And when you say that at that level of licensing that they're looking for sales, what kind of figures are we talking? Let's get real about that.
Well, it's very hard to say because every company has different mandates, but in terms of sales, mostly they would want you to have a minimum $1 million annual sales net profit before they approach you. And that means that you need to be in market and have a solid presence for at least maybe 3 years or 4 years and have different countries, or as long as you have in your data room several interested parties that are interested in your product, and you have MOU or memorandum of understanding signed and that stamped, means that you have tractions and they can believe in your technology and then come forward. And sometimes they're risk takers and they want to sort of amplify their portfolio. For example, Unilever just recently, they've done a transaction and purchased Dermalogica for a substantial amount. So because big companies such as Unilever or L'Oreal or Philips, they constantly do play in that sort of M&A world, and they buy and sell. And so that's why they're looking at those metrics. And once your metrics is high enough, it could be any company or any brand that could approach and be interested in the technology.
Yeah, how exciting. It's interesting to get an inside look behind the scenes at that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I guess when you talk about, making the product into this, high net worth, high branding stuff, what I want to know as listeners, and what I would be curious about is, what are the stepping stones to get to that top end of the charts? How do you,
Again, sales. I think once you have good sales, then you can imperfect your technology. And once you get your product into the prestige classification, where you can charge a top premium price for your product, that would be normally anchored against the sales that you have and the number of companies that are using your brand. So that is easy. You can easily add more features and make your device more perfect by integrating AI into the device, which we are currently doing now. We are talking with a third-party company in Europe that they've developed this magnificent app that simply takes a photo of your skin and can detect the issues that your skin is having, such as pigmentation or acne or rosacea or dullness or whatnot. Yeah. And simply by touching the button, it recommends you the relevant skincare that you need. And that's something that we want to work with them. So different types of the creams that could potentially be into the skincare capsules of SkinGate could be detected by that AI, so people can easily find out what's their skin like and order the right product to come to the door. And so they can just keep using those capsules with the device.
And you're talking a lot about skincare and pigmentation. Can you share us a little bit perspective on the current skincare industry today? What you see right now, the best and the worst, your point of view?
Well, it's a nearly $65 billion industry, and it's evolving from indie brands to very well brands that we're all using, such as Nivea or L'Oreal or Lancome and Estée Lauder and Le Perret. They all come with different price tag, different technology behind the way they manufacture, the way they package, the way they market their products. Sometimes you find a product that has a very long list of ingredients, and consumer gets quite excited. They take it home, they use it for days and weeks, and they don't see any changes to their skin because simply the products that are listed, they are there, but they're not at the right quantum, the right metric, the right preparation, the right percentage. The fact that your dish has several ingredients, but it tastes awful, doesn't mean that it's a good dish. So that's the same game that all these skincare manufacturers try to play to make sure that their product meets the end user's ultimate need and can tick the boxes.
Yeah. What about, there's been a lot of discussion over the last couple of years online about the gut-brain axis and how that affects skin. Is that something that you spend much time researching or developing any products around?
Yeah, absolutely. The next generation of skincare products that will be bottled into the capsule is a mixture of advanced probiotic and stem cell. So we just have to do more R&D and research to ensure that the energy that it's applied on the actual skincare as it comes out of the device and pushes is not interacting with some of the molecules that are into whether it's a stem cell or whether it's a probiotic, because they're very gentle to heat or energy changes. You don't want that the protein to be denatured and be ultimately useless and not do
Sure.
the right job. So absolutely, that's part of.
Can you explain to our audience about why that gut to skin connection is important?
Well, guts can control our health and well-being, and the gastrointestinal disease is the nature of it usually is the improper flora bacteria that could change the pH of the lining tissue of the guts and cause bloating, IBS, eventually Crohn's disease that could have multiple factors, or simply just show that sensitivity over our skin. Sometimes rosacea, it appears. And some people think rosacea is just a cosmetic, but it usually, most of the time, is due to bad flora bacteria that changes the pH level of our body, gets too acidic, fermentation happens, and then skin start to show a little bit of anger, a bit of inflammation and redness and swelling. And that's something that, as a skincare manufacturer, we have to really keep that seriously and bear in mind that those ingredients that can really be mixed well with other ingredients that help the nourishing and firming at the same time looking after the skin's health.
So fascinating. So your approach to the products that you create is really centered in technology, which I guess sets you apart from many cosmetics or skincare companies. How often do you notice that other companies are letting their marketing do all the heavy lifting while their actual formulations are not quite cutting it?
Well, I can't talk on behalf of them because obviously every company that tries their best to create the best formula, but through our internal R&D, we found that a lot of big brands that are selling quite a high price tag to end users, they pretty much they're nothing but just a big beautiful box that they just shovel the cream into the box, and you just enjoy how the bottle is looking and the pump is looking and the writing, but in fact there's not much active ingredients into those, and that is very fascinating to see that how still they're making billions of dollars annual sales without really achieving anything to the user's skin. So at the end of the day, it comes back to, and they all just approved, right? So it's not necessarily is the approval process that makes that change. It's the end user that has to look at the reviews, look at the testers, buy testers, try, see if it fits your skin type, and keep asking. And now with the help of ChatGPT, you can easily just scan and just see if it matches your skin or if it's really is the right product for you.
Yeah, so it seems like we're talking about marketing. How do you associate things with TikTok, social media, and how do you see AI-powered skincare evolving in this startup, in this technology?
Well, obviously, we're living in a very fast-moving digital world where TikTok and Instagram are the number one in terms of the generation that we're trying to target. So because obviously we are quite lean and we're not there yet in terms of our very heavy marketing expenditure. We're raising capital to finish the technology and bring it to more wholesalers or potential licensing. That's a different story because if you went to sell devices one by one, it would take maybe 1 or 2 years or longer with a big marketing budget that you need to have. But definitely having good influencers that could support. And you need to give a lot of obviously samples to big influencers to review your product and give their honest opinion, and that matters a lot. And then once it goes to Amazon, and Amazon has a very good review system that obviously people can look at Trustpilot and the level of the stars that your product has, and obviously they all just come hand in hand. And then you can just get into Redbook, Taobao, and Tmall, or those big portals in Asia. That once you get to those channels, obviously would be much easier and faster progress.
Yeah, amazing. So I'm curious about the market selling into the US. Do you have any sort of distribution facilities that you base your products in over there, or are you just shipping from Australia?
We are working on, actually tomorrow we have a meeting with a large distribution company in New York that they raised interest to look at technology. Unfortunately, we lost a deal, which we had a very big Chicago-based beauty brand. They ordered quite a large number, but with the recent tariff based on Chinese manufactured goods, they pulled out. And then the tariff was lifted, because initially it was 40% tariff, and then that got lifted back to 10, but we lost that contact, that client, because it took about 2 months from this tariff exchange war to end, and it's not ended yet. But that really has had quite a bit of an impact on our sales figures. But hopefully we can close the deal soon with the US and Europe, with one of the largest professional skincare manufacturers.
So we're going to do this section called Rapid Fire, and we just want your answer really nice and quickly off the top of your head.
Okay.
Cool.
Interesting.
What's the first thing you look forward to in the morning when you wake up?
What I'm looking forward is just to go to gym, because I'm a bit gym junkie, and without that, I wouldn't be able to move anything. So after I've done my gym and shower and dropped off my kids, I get my coffee and sit behind the computer, because after my practice manager gives me a quick rundown about the whole day, then everything just locked in with myself in the room and working on my gadgets and on hobbies. I would like to say if I'm into going out for a walk, I'm not. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. What's your number one tip if you could only choose one for great skin?
Use sunscreen.
Sunscreen, absolutely.
I got one now. I got one.
Oh, you're going to throw one in?
So, what's your favorite product innovation you've ever been a part of?
Well, obviously SkinGate. I've used nearly all my energy and power and life on this.
Yeah.
But the drug delivery watch is also very interesting for us.
Gorgeous. Could you recommend a favorite book or podcast or public speaker who really inspires you?
Anthony Robbins. I'm a big follower of him, and I'm following all his podcasts and everything that he does. I went to a couple of his seminars, and pretty much Richard Branson and.
So you're at the end of your SkinGate journey in terms of getting ready to bring it to market. Are you currently going through the process of seeking investment?
Absolutely. We would welcome investors to contact us at cosmoinnovations.com.au or contact me directly on +61 404 88 1357, where we would love to offer them the information they need and do an online presentation. We're raising $3 million, which could lead us towards a very strong financial position within a year.
Yeah, how exciting. And
Thank you.
We'd really like to end on a positive note with your best advice for other startup founders who are just walking into maybe their own product production journey for the first time. What's your best piece of advice on how to navigate that?
Listen to your guts and try to have a very logical approach with your own self. It's sometimes if you're too emotionally attached to your own idea, you can make wrong decisions. it's good to listen to people's advice, third parties from outside that who have no idea about what you're doing, and with people who have a good intellectual background, it would be good to always consult. That was one of my initial problems. That 8-9 years ago, that I wanted to start a different startup. I didn't ask, and that failed immediately within 6 months. So that was a lesson for me that I use that information and advice that anything that I do, I always have, I'm surrounded by a great team, great people, and I listen.
Listening.
It's important.
Yeah, great advice. Great advice. So where can people find you if they want to connect?
Well, I'm based in Melbourne, and again, through our website, contact us page, cosmoinnovations.com.au. Very happy to connect, and please drop me an email, and hopefully we can catch up.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It was a pleasure having you on, and best of luck with everything in the future.
Thank you for the opportunity. It's been a pleasure as well. So yes,
I want to say
thanks.
thank you for sharing all that knowledge for somebody that doesn't know much about cosmetic industry, but thank you for giving me all the insight. I learned a lot, actually. It's a lot of insight, a lot of the back end story. So I'm sure some of the lessons would be need those information as well. So
it was a pleasure. Thank you so much again. No, it's been really, really interesting.
Thank you. To help support our continued mission to provide free, best-in-class advice from the world's most compelling business leaders, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you never miss an episode. See you next Thursday. Thanks for tuning into The Business Game. If you like what you've heard, make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn to stay connected. A big thank you to HubSpot for providing an affiliate link for our audience on today's episode. And join us again on the next episode of The Business Game, a podcast that moves the needle.